Wow.
Wow, this is some really deep stuff.
I don't know what just happened, but something happened inside of me. Something snapped, something.
I wasn't expecting that
either. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all right. It's beautiful.
Monster is like really small, but it had to become that to stop me.
And then the hurt child became present when you mentioned it.
And I didn't realize this until now.
There were things that I didn't remember until now.
Funny, I haven't seen that before.
It feels like I'm the monster. I'm kind of seeing images of things. Of a world where they can exist. This clarity brings all kinds of answers.
It's clear. She hugged me and then went back to her place, I guess, in my heart. Oh, it wants to come out. It wants to bippity boppity boop Cinderella me. She's melted into my chest. It's ooey gooey.
All week been finishing things, cleaning up more, started eating vegetables again last week. And it kind of just started happening. It's almost like I just finished going through a meditation session.
I feel light. When you hit that first joint, in the morning, and
I actually feel a lot more awake.
All right. So last time we talked, it might have been a new part that was, there was a child, a 3-year-old part, and then there was also a part you worked with more, which was a villain. It presented as a villain, and then took the mask off and revealed a little boy. Did you do any more work with that part?
No. Yeah, I've been having a really hard time doing any self-connecting. Yeah, there are parts that want me to just, that seem to take over, that want me to just not do that kind of stuff, want me to just numb and disconnect.
Okay. What has worked for you? I mean, I remember asking you once, if you feel like that comes up when you're talking with me, and I think you said that no, that you're able to do it when you're talking with me. Is there anything that you found useful other than talking with me when you are on your own?
It does help when I can write, but yeah, it's strange because I'll even have my journal next to me, and it just feels like the resistance is so strong. Just I can't. And last night, I forced myself to write a few sentences, but yeah, I don't know why it's so hard. And lately, there's been that. And I've been overeating a lot. Yeah, it's, especially in the evenings, if there's any I'll like eat and then I'll wait to not feel full. And if there's like a little space in my stomach, I'll want to eat more. Yeah.
Okay. So what would be most helpful, or is there a part that you know that you'd like to work with today?
I'm just thinking about, between the two, I want to work with both. I guess the part that wants, to keep me, I don't know if it's disconnected or what, but yeah, I guess I probably work with that part because I'm thinking like, oh, there's no point, there's no point in working with it. It's still going to take over, but I think that makes me think, oh, that probably would be helpful.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I guess put yourself back in one of those situations where you feel being taken over by that part, and see if you can recall what that feels like in or around your body.
Okay. Yeah, there's a tension in my neck and shoulders and face.
And how are you feeling towards that part now?
Frustrated.
Yeah, that makes sense. What does that frustrated part want you to know?
Saying, we're trying to take care of ourselves and do the right thing. And we can't because this part takes over and makes everything harder.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Okay, so let it know it makes sense to you. And I guess just try asking it if it will give you space to work with this part now, if it trusts you to work with it now, or if it would like to show you more or tell you more about itself.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay with that.
All right. And now how are you feeling towards the part that takes you away from doing this work?
I'm curious.
Great. And that curiosity, does that feel well? Are there other parts too? I mean, I hear the curiosity. I'm wondering just if you can check for any other parts that are pushing this part away or are not wanting you to work with it.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like an aggressive part that has energy like my dad that wants to like silence it and destroy it.
It wants to silence and destroy the part that takes you away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what else does it want you to know about its job or itself?
Its job is to maintain order, and it's like follow the rules and do everything right.
Does that make sense to you why it would feel that way, or how, that it feels that way?
Yeah.
Right. So let it know that makes sense to you. And maybe ask what it would be afraid would happen if it didn't do that.
Okay. Yeah, it's like if it doesn't do that, then everything will go to shit. And a memory is like being brought to my attention, like when I was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5. And my sister and I were playing in our room, and we had made a mess, and like all our toys were all over the floor. And my dad came in and said, you know, you have 5 minutes to clean this up or I'm going to throw out all your toys. And so we just sat there. Hold on. We just sat there and cried. And then he came in and he threw out all our toys. And yeah, it's kind of like that. Like it'll give him a reason to, punish us.
Yeah. So this part's been trying to prevent that, at least since you were 4.
Yeah.
Does it make sense to you? Does it make sense how that might be protective? That it's yelling at you to keep you from facing your dad yelling at you?
Yeah.
If you can just show it appreciation, keeping you safe in that way.
Okay.
When it did, and its intentions.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me to like. I keep seeing my dad's face and with this part, and you know, like with my dad, if there was any, if I were to appreciate or acknowledge his behavior, it's like see that as a sign of weakness and somehow use it against me, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So I'm kind of struggling.
Yeah, that makes sense. Does the part resemble your dad, or the part showing you?
Mm. It does feel like the part resembles him in the need to have order and to be perfect.
And how old does that part think that you are?
Um, 12 came to mind.
If it feels like there is that 12-year-old version of you present in the room, ask that part to step back and just ask it to trust you, to work with this part and see how it feels about that.
Okay. Yeah, she seems very angry. She doesn't want to step back.
Yeah. And why is that? What's she concerned about if she's not present in the conversation?
She's tired of him taking over, and she doesn't. Are you there?
Sorry, I am here. I hit mute because I was running over those loud things.
Okay. Yeah, she doesn't want to give him any more energy or space. She's wants to be free.
Yeah. And how long has she been kind of putting up that fight?
Well, it seems like she felt it inside her whole life, but it wasn't until my mom left that she was able to allow herself to feel it. Or express it.
So maybe let her know and let this dad-like part know your real age. Remind them of maybe some of the successes you've had when you have parts out. Maybe remind them that your dad is not in your life right now, and that this is an internal struggle that you can help.
Okay.
And again, I think to do that, it's always to try to do that kind of one at a time. So I would go back to asking that 12-year-old part if she wouldn't mind stepping out and letting you, the present day you, work with this part that shows up in you, appears like your dad.
Okay. He's okay with that.
Great. And what about that dad part? Did it recognize you as being your real age? How did it respond to that?
It seems scared.
Can you ask more about that?
Okay. It's scared that I'm going to make it go away.
How do you respond to that? Or just how do you feel when you hear it say that?
I'm surprised. Yeah, it's like it's cowering. And I'm surprised hearing my age would do that, because, when I think of, this part that I see, like the face of my dad, I think of him, and he was never afraid of anything from me. He
Right.
was the scary one.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, this part isn't your dad. It's a part that took on some of his traits in order to protect you. Or protect parts of you. And how are you being with it now?
It seems I'm standing next to it.
Mm-hmm. Would you be up for just asking more about its experience as, in that role? What it's been like for it to have to do that or to feel like it has to do that?
Okay. It says that it likes to feel powerful, and that's the only way for it to feel alive.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And maybe we can get back to the kind of understanding its protective role. If you feel like there's more that you'd like to learn about that, or to just learn from it about that, about how it being the way that it is, or doing the job that it does, has, at least in its mind, protected you.
How it got the role?
Sure. I mean, you could ask how it got the role, or you could just ask how it feel like, if it feels like it's been protective of you, and if it feels like you get that, or if there's more that you want to learn or hear about it around how it's protective or thinks that it's protective.
Okay. Find me like walking around a school campus and having like a puffed out chest, and like maybe how flexing the muscles in a puffed out chest, and like yeah, look at me, I'm strong, and and I rules, or I do all the right things. There's like a value in that, a way to get approval or attention.
Yeah. And how about in connection with that kind of 4-year-old part, the one that's crying about the toys being thrown away, has it felt like it does any protection around that?
Okay. Yeah, it's like that wouldn't happen on my watch.
Right. And what about now? If you,
I'm like I'm getting like a Buzz Lightyear.
yeah, a good guy protector, right? More
Yeah,
of a real hero.
yeah.
And how about now if you try showing appreciation for that intention and that energy that part has brought?
Okay. It receives it, likes it.
Yeah. And maybe it could show you more about that kind of Buzz Lightyear side of it. How would it rather be spending its energy if it didn't have to work so hard in that more critical way? If it didn't have to protect that 4-year-old part?
Okay. To go on adventures for fun.
And how does it look now? Has its resemblance changed at all since you've gotten to know it better?
Yeah, it's like, well, when I was seeing it, what job it would like, ear took, all the gear and was in a Hawaiian t-shirt and like shorts.
Yeah. Do you want to ask it about that image that it presents of your father, and if it would like to do something else with that? To me, it sounds like it's something that it was carrying, right? It's something that it picked up and kind of uses.
The image of him?
Yeah. How much it was associated with him or even resembled him. And I'm just wondering if it would like to change its relationship with that kind of image.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like it's saying that that's the image that I see, that it doesn't necessarily project that image.
Uh-huh.
But like anyone who's trying to be an authority and force me to be disciplined or push discipline on me, that's what I see.
Right. And now you're seeing these other sides of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's when you think about how to be with this part going forward. If well, I mean, you could just ask it what it needs, what it wants from you going forward.
Okay. It's saying to do my best to stay out of trouble. And I think image of my new job came and I don't know, maybe that's why it's been more active. Like I need to, like we talked about last time, like needing to know all these things and wanting to avoid getting into trouble for not knowing.
And how about in its relationship with you? It's in this constellation of these other parts. This 12-year-old, this 4-year-old, this part that wants to take you away from doing all the work. And then there's you, the real you, the self. What would it like in the future around all of that?
And about with its relationship to me,
to you, and to the other parts.
it like to be relaxed and not have to, you know, militaristic.
It's getting kind of choppy. I tried driving somewhere where it says I have better service, so I don't know if it's on your end this time. He was saying he wants to relax and not be so militaristic.
Yes. Let me see if I can move a little bit. So.
And how do you feel about the prospect of keeping in touch with this part? How do you feel about keeping in touch with the part going forward?
Well, I like it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it now because it's it's relaxed and chill and just and wants to just relax and chill.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that sounds like I mean, they're all valuable, they're all important parts, but, you know, as much as your dad comes up in your conversations and in your parts worlds and in your inner world, if this part was playing that part, it seems like, you know, that's one to really keep close and to really try to understand, especially if now you're seeing this positive side of it. So I encourage you to do that. Check in with that part.
That makes sense.
Maybe maybe so many other parts are unwilling to change or move, you know, if they're seeing that in their worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I can see that part triggering like the activation of other parts, like overeating, you know, as a way to self-soothe, but also distance,
Right.
you know, from that part and rebel against that part.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a way in which you might want to check in with it going forward? Finding a spot for it on your body to touch into. Anything else that has worked for you as far as checking in has gone?
Okay. Yeah, I think maybe putting one hand on my chest and one on my belly.
Okay. Any other parts that have any concerns or questions about your work with this part?
None that are speaking up right now.
Okay. Well, I hope it goes well for you. Let me know next time.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Do you want to help bring more self-energy to the world? If you'd like to participate in calls or help out with this project in any way, I'd love to hear your ideas. Join the Discord server or contact me at james@liveifs.com. A huge thanks to our audio engineer, Yvonne, for your care and diligence in editing the calls. To every caller for your courage in sharing some of your parts. And to anyone out there getting to know their internal system, keep going. Who knows? That might be the most selfless, helpful thing you can do for others, and you're the only one who can do it. If you'd like to see us reach the largest audience, we must please the almighty suggestion algorithms at iTunes and YouTube. And they don't care about the power of IFS. They're looking for likes and shares and comments, and the sooner the better. Follow the links in the show notes right here in your podcast player to make your wishes known. And now, a minute of meditation. Or if you prefer, pull over. You can do it in 60 seconds. Just click one of those links. They're right there, and give us a like or a 5-star rating. It would really help. If you think this project is helping people, you're helping people by sharing it. Thank you.